次回到马来西亚雪邦国际赛道，观看亚洲保时捷凯拉杯2025年赛季第6回合的赛事直播。Hello everyone and welcome back to Sepang International Circuit for round 6 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2025 season. Today it's super sunny as we are going to kick off with 2 races. Let's hear from our pit reporter Steve Dawson on how's it going for today.
Well, the weather news, Sammy, is that there shouldn't be any rain during the races today, at least. Track temperature is about 75% of max here at Sepang, and I think Dylan Pereira is well placed to take advantage of that. He had fabulous race pace yesterday and starts in P1. I think the real action, though, could come from among the amateurs today. Henry Kwong has 4 amateur drivers right behind him, one of which is the championship leader, Mongkong Satyan Tirukun. They are in P14 and P16 respectively, and we'll try and keep a good close eye on that for you.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch how they perform because the track temperature today is just 37, but it's going to be rising later. So thank you very much, Steve, and let's pass it back to our commentators.
Thanks, Sammy and Steve. Down on the grid at the Sepang International Circuit, Arjuna Kankipati here in the broadcast booth and ready for the 267th race in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. We had 1 race yesterday and 2 races here on Super Sunday, and super sunny, not a lick of cloud in the sky for us to talk about. Our race yesterday was a night race, so very different conditions than the drivers are going to be experiencing, although the track temperature seemingly similar, 36 degrees Celsius yesterday, 37 today. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of what happened yesterday as Dylan Pereira was dominant. He was perfect in qualifying, sweeping all 3 of the qualifying sessions and got a decent launch off the line as well. Marco Giltrap did challenge the opening corner. It was Nazim Hasman that got the worst of the launches in the pro machines. Battles between Team Jebsen's Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida and Enzo Trulli in the Toro Racing Machine. Similar fights between Henry Kwong and Hubo in the AM class. I think a fight we'll be looking forward to watching here today as well. Unfortunately for Chao Chi Kwan, that was Lee Chuan Yu just going a little bit deep in through turn 1 and overcommitting on the brakes. This fight between Trulli and Diaz-Almeida really reached its zenith when a mistake into turn 9 allowed Diaz-Almeida to finally make his move. Nazim Hasman, with the hometown support, got past Amir Harris-Jeffrey at the very same time as well. There was a mistake from Henry Kwong under the brakes. Josh Rowledge, a similar sort of mistake at the final corner as he tried to make his move, but at the front of the field, domination lights the flag victory for Dylan Pereira, who made it 4 wins in a row in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia here in 2025. But as you can see, very, very different conditions that greet the drivers here today. The sun's shining. It will bake the track as well. Let's head back down to the track and catch up with Sammy, who's found someone on the grid.
Now joining me on the track, we have the series manager, Alex Imperatori, and together with Christopher Hunter, the CEO from SAMW Auto Performance. Chris, it's great to have you here on track today. I'll start with Alex first. So Alex, can you share with us how did yesterday's race go from your perspective?
Yeah, I think it was a very smooth race. This twilight race going from dusk into the night was very exciting. Beautiful images. Dylan Pereira extended his championship lead with a commanding performance, but we also had some action behind from our local heroes with some Malaysian action with Nazim and Amer, so that was exciting to watch. And also local hero Adrian scored another Masters win, so they're going well so far.
Thank you very much. Speaking of Malaysian drivers, this round we have Chris, where, racing on our home ground, and it's the first time in PCCA history that you are running 2 cars. So what does that mean to you and your team?
Correct. Well, we always look forward to welcoming PCCA here in Malaysia. It's a big weekend for us, and it's a big weekend also for the Porsche community as a whole. It's great to have 2 cars here, and also great to have seeing Nazim on the track again. Also with Hugo Ellis in number 38, and we hope these guys do really well this afternoon.
We look forward to see the action as well. Both gentlemen, I'm sure you are enjoying, because on the grid, especially on this track, it's always phenomenal to have so many guests on the grid. So how does it feel to be part of this vibrant event? Let's start with Alex.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be here. Like I said yesterday, we've been coming to Sepang since 2003. It's always a favorite from the drivers and the teams. We feel the emotion, the atmosphere here. And this weekend with not just one but 2 cars from Sime Motors. Also, they're always putting on a great show with a lot of guests coming in to enjoy. You can see behind us with the grid walk filling up now. So it's always nice atmosphere here in Malaysia.
And what about Chris? How do you feel being part of this vibrant event with so many guests here?
I think it's awesome. This weekend we've also got the final of our esports championship. So we have a lot of young talented drivers on the simulators upstairs. They're having their final this afternoon and they're super enthusiastic, and then combining the virtual world with the real world here just creates that absolute buzz that we love to see.
Sounds really exciting. So thank you very much to both our gentlemen, and let's enjoy the race together, and we'll pass it back to our commentators.
Great to be able to catch up there at the front of the grid, and cool to hear as well that the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge Malaysia wrapping up at the Sepang International Circuit. The drivers are rolling their way around and forming themselves up, and Mr. Bibendum, Michelin man, sits at the front greeting Dylan Pereira for the second time this weekend. He will also be on pole later today when we go racing for our 45-minute endurance race. That's going to be, of course, a slightly different sort of a storyline to talk about. Tire preservation and maybe a bit more of a key with the Michelins underneath you. But it also means that here in this Endurance Cup round, we've got a different championship to talk about. Let's talk weather quickly, though. 30 degrees Celsius in the air, and the chance of rain, Steve said, unlikely during the races, and the cloud cover not looking like it's going to pose much threat for the drivers. No wind is something that's quite curious. That means the drivers aren't going to be buffeted around through some of the longer medium-speed corners that Sepang does have to offer. Let's talk track temperature, though, provided to us by Michelin, 38 degrees Celsius. So Steve mentioned it was at 37 a couple of minutes ago. It is starting that climb up, and by the time we get racing for the Enduro later on this afternoon, it will likely be even higher. Let's head back down to the grid. Steve's caught up with our pole sitter in one of the classes.
Let's have a word with our pole sitter then, Dylan Pereira. Dylan, you weren't perfectly happy with your start yesterday. Is that the main focus this Sunday morning?
Yeah, definitely. We looked ahead yesterday on the data and everything, what we could improve. So definitely I will try to do it a little bit better. And then we'll see. I think I need to start at least the same than yesterday and have P1 in after turn 2. And then from there on I have to do my race and see if I can keep the position. So definitely we try to analyze everything and to improve even more, and I think we changed some things, and let's see if it's better, and let's get even faster.
A little bit different today because one of your main challengers, Enzo Trulli, is right alongside you. Does that make things a little bit more nervy maybe?
I think if I want to be champion I have to beat everyone, so at the end doesn't matter who is next to me or who is behind me or who is in front of me. So if I want to be champion at the end I need to be first, so I try my best and try to win the race.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
That's the answer of a 2022 Porsche Mobile One Super Cup champion, bringing all that experience in this Porsche Cup machinery. Enzo Trulli, the only other driver to have won a race this season, so it will be interesting. Trulli struggled on the long run in yesterday's night race. Will today's conditions be a little bit more favorable to the Italian? Just 19 years of age. We'll catch up with more of the drivers on the grid as well, and this is where we're expecting the fights to be in the mid-pack, the Pro-Am, the Am and the Masters classes, where championships are up for grabs, and in some cases drivers are stacked on top of one another. There's Dylan Yip, who started third yesterday. He'll start third again, hoping for another podium. A driver who did race most recently in the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup with F1 at Imola, so he's getting more comfortable on the big stages. Exactly what the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia is meant to do, the pyramid, building drivers to hopefully becoming Porsche factory drivers, following the path that the likes of Earl Bamber have laid out in the past. Let's go down, chat to our AM pole sitter, Henry Kwong.
Henry Kwong is in pole position among the amateur drivers. Henry, this could well be the battle of the day. That's what we're building it up to. Are you looking forward to this one?
Yes, I'm in the front of the AM category, and of course, I'm looking forward to keep the same pace back to the finish line. And it's nice weather, so hopefully everything will go well.
2 races today, that's a lot of driving. Are you in good shape?
Of course, yes. Have to ready anytime.
All right, hopefully we'll speak to you later on. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
That's a helmet and a paint scheme that you will not miss when it's running around the track. And he does have, like we were talking about, lots of the AM competitors around him. That's what's going to make this start so intriguing. And we'll talk about starts mostly here because it's a standing start. The endurance race is a rolling start, a slightly different sort of ball game for the drivers to work their way through. There is one of the Team Porsche New Zealand entries, Marco Giltrap, who started on the outside of the front row last night and did challenge Dylan Pereira. And Steve asked Dylan about that start, clearly hoping to get off the line, drop the clutch a little bit better, something that they don't have to do in the endurance race when, again, remember, rolling start down towards the opening corner. Let's take a look at some of the championship points then, with 1 race done this weekend, 2 still left to go, and Dylan Pereira's lead just continues to get even bigger. It's now 4 wins in a row for the Team Shanghai Honda BWT driver. Hugo Ellis still second, although now just 10 points in front of Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, whose fight with Enzo Trulli has given him a 4-point buffer. Dylan Yip is up to 5th, and hoping from P3 he will be able to find his way forward, maybe up to 3rd in the championship once this last sprint race of the weekend comes to a close. In the Pro-Ams, it is still Bao Jinglong that is on top. It's a 10-point advantage over Li Xuanyu in the 321 Z-Speed Motorsports entry. Francis Chia, Li Chao, and Eric Zhang, the rest of the top 5. And remember, of course, Lu Kai-shun's in the number 77. No Eric Zhang here today. Munkong Satien Tirinkun, he is perfect this season. Almost perfect, with the exception of a couple of bonus points. He has grabbed every race win. Eric Kwong and Henry Kwong, the brothers, are pushing each other in 2nd and 3rd, with Yen Chuang and Hugh Bo, the top 5. This is a class, though, where one slip-up can make a big difference. Same to be said for the Masters, where Adrian De Silva's victory last night has seen him continue to build his points advantage. But Jackie Wu, Christian Chia, and John Shen only split by 7 points, those 3 drivers. If De Silva has any issue through the remaining part of the season, the championship in the Masters, a new class for 2025, could close right up. Here's a look at the track map. 5.5 odd kilometers is the Sepang International Circuit, opened back in 1998. And in terms of overtaking opportunities in these Porsche Cup cars, look to turn 4, look to turn 9, and look to turn 15. That also means the run into each of those corners, pretty important to be able to get the power down and run that momentum. So out of turn 2, out of turn 14, and of course out of the final corner as well, which you see a great camera shot of right in front of you. The corner that is maybe the most tricky, though. This track's got plenty of low and medium speed corners, but 5 and 6, a lumbering left and right-hander. That's the one where A, track limits can be important. B, we've sometimes also found drivers pushing their Michelin tires just that little bit more. The slightly isolating feeling of being left alone on the grid is also something that the drivers usually all relish. They are now left to the task at hand. Fire up the engines and begin to, in some cases, put some rubber down in their grid stalls, and then after that, get the heat, the energy into the Michelin tires, into the brakes as well. So when they line up and the lights go out, they are ready to go. So 13 laps or 30 minutes. And why do I say that? Well, yesterday we did not see the safety car for the first time this season. And we also did not have a DNF. All 27 machines saw the checkered flag after the 13 laps of racing. If we did get a safety car and it slowed the race down sufficiently, we would end after 30 minutes, even if 13 laps had not been completed. There is Bao Jinglong, who's going to line up in second in the Pro-Am category and hoping to rocket his way forward, I think. Everyone off the grid for the formation lap successfully, so that's step 1. Let's take a look at the starting grid then for the 267th race in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Dylan Pereira once again on pole in the Team Shanghai Honda BWT machine, but this time Enzo Trulli alongside on the run to turn 1 in the Toro Racing number 99. Dylan Yip, for a second consecutive race here at Sepang, lines up in third position for Phantom Global Racing, and he has Marco Giltrap, who was good off the blocks yesterday, challenging Pereira to turn 1 on his outside of Team Porsche New Zealand, number 66. Josh Rowledge for Team WeTrade PGR. He had a big send at the end of yesterday's race. He lines up 5th with Brock Gilchrist for company on row 3 in the second of the Team Porsche New Zealand entries. And then Nazim Osman, the hometown hero, lines up 7th for a second consecutive race in Sime Motors Racing's number 17. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, Team Jepson's 55 is 8th position with Amir Harris Jeffrey, another one of our Malaysian contingent, lining up for Z Speed Motorsports in 9th. And then Lu Kai-shun, the first of the Pro-Am machines, the Toro Racing 77, in 10th overall. Hugo Ellis finds himself further down than he'd want, second in the championship in the Sime Motors Racing number 38, with Bao Jinglong second in Pro-Am, looking to fight his way forward in the BWT Phantom G Racing machine. Francis Chia, Pro-Am third in class. He lines up 13th with Henry Kwong, the Am pole sitter, alongside him in the Triple Ace Racing entry. Then Chao Chi Kwan in the 610 Racing 610, and another one of the Am drivers, the championship leader, Munkong Satien Tirankun in the EBM number 76. All the Am drivers together include Eric Kwong in the Bergwerk Motorsport 23 and Hubo in the 610 Racing number 22. Until you finally get to another one of the Pro-Am machines. Li Chao in the Team Better Life number 9 lines up in 19th. And he's got Li Xuan Yu, the 321 Z-Speed Motorsports for company to round out the top 20. Then the first of the Masters drivers, Adrian De Silva, looking to try and go back-to-back here in Malaysia in the EBM entry. Jackie Wu, though, is alongside for Porsche-owned Retail 69 team. Christian Chia in the Open Road Racing number 88 is 23rd, with Simon Chan, who joins us for the first time this season, in 24th in the Fire Monkey Motorsports 101. John Shen, the man behind Modena Motorsports, is 25th, with Phantom Global Racing and Yen Truong having a rough go of it in the last handful of rounds, trying to hopefully get some momentum back on his side from 26. And lap times deleted in qualifying for Dafa Budiharjo, Superstars Motorsports, a pro driver, having to work his way all the way from the tail end of the field. So a bit of a gap between the front 5 and the rest of the cars. Trulli and Pereira are slotting into their stalls right now. We're still waiting for the vast majority of the field to make their way out of the final corner. But finally, they will line up. There you can see still at least 7 machines yet to even exit out of turn 15. And so Michelin tires and brakes starting to cool off at the front of the field as the pro drivers sit and wait for the remaining machines to line up. There's Bao Jinglong, championship leader and a 5-time champion in the Pro-Am class, as now full focus up towards the lights. All 27 have now officially slotted into their stalls. So the green flag ready to fly at the back of the grid. Super Sunday here at Sepang. 2 races. First a sprint, just 13 laps for these drivers, and the endurance later on. The Porsche Symphony sings out once again. A great launch from Dylan Pereira, and the rest of the field follows him into turn number 1. Enzo Trulli is now watching and defending to the inside as they enter the braking zone for the very first time. And they're almost 5 abreast in the heart of the pack, and Henry Kwong is being swamped. Bao Jinglong's gone aggressive as well, so Pro-Am, Am and Masters class drivers all trying to make headway at the start here. But it is going to be Pereira from Trulli, from Yip, and I think then Giltrap, the top 4, as they stretch their legs up towards turn 4 for the very first time. Actually, Dylan Yip's lost out there to Marco Giltrap. Giltrap defends from Josh Rowledge. Around the outside, Brock Gilchrist tries to demote Dylan Yip now down to 7th spot. There's Hubo in the 22. He's going to get a good run as I think that was Francis Chia getting slightly bobbled off the corner. They're finally single file through the field though as Pereira extends his advantage at the front. Onto the curb and wide there for Marco Giltrap in the Team Porsche New Zealand number 66. And that's compromised him. Josh Rowledge tried to pinch him on the entry to turn 9. Didn't quite work out. No position changes there. Mir Harris Jeffrey in the 45 is tucked up behind Nazim Osman. Those two battled plenty yesterday. And down at turn 9, that was a very, very close call. So the AM drivers all tripping over one another still as we exit through turn 13 for the very first time. Giltrap almost being pushed through the corner by Josh Rowledge, who leads the train trying to chase behind. Harris Jeffrey almost 2 wheels in the grass as he looks to try and mount his offense on Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida. Dylan Yip, as well as Brock Gilchrist, pop out of the line. It's allowed Nazim Osman to go the long way around. Will he get the power down and try and make the move into turn 1? So Pereira leads, Trulli second. And then Giltrap, Rowledge, Gilchrist and Dylan Yip from 3rd to 6th on the opening lap. Bao Jinglong has made the move on Lu Kai-shun to take over the Pro-Am lead, while Munkong Satin Tirinkun has fought his way past Henry Kwong, who, like I said, absolutely swarmed on the race start. Dylan Yip pushed out wide there from Brock Gilchrist. The elbows are being thrown here as we sequence onto the second lap of the race, and a 2-second advantage for the leader at the front of the field. In the Masters, it's Christian Chia that is now in the lead. He's passed John Shen. He's passed Adrian De Silva as well. Remember, this is just 13 laps, so the Michelin's underneath you can be pushed a bit harder than the 45-minute endurance race coming up slightly later on today. Out of 5 and 6. The long, slow, medium speed corner. That's Dafa Budi-Harjo in the 25. Now that looks like he stalled the car. Also just trying to wait for the right time to spin it around. No ABS, no traction control, so he could do a burnout, but I think he's being cautious. Doesn't want to burn the clutch out. And I speculate it was contact, I thought, on the left, a bit of damage. Now, that's one of the Masters machines. That, I believe, is Adrian De Silva. Is that how De Silva lost the class lead? He still scored 3rd in class, is the 61, victorious yesterday in category. Has out wide. Pressure being felt here by Jackie Wu. Yen Chuang just behind. Simon Chan as well toward the tail end of the field. As Dylan Yip looks to go on to the inside. Nazim Osman's given him the room, but he'll power off the corner well if he's given the opportunity. Behind him as well, as Sci Motors racing teammate is in another wheel-to-wheel fight. They're 2x2 down the pit straightaway. Dylan Yip trying to pinch into one. Behind them. Oh, you've got to be careful, because Dylan Yip wanted to try the crisscross, and now he's touching up the right rear. Nazim Osman's holding on to that 7th spot, though, and around goes one machine. That is Hugo Ellis, 2nd in the championship, stricken on the inside, down at turn 2. And Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida also involved. Team Jebsen's machine pointed in the wrong direction. Finally gets it spun around, and another look. So Ellis has lost it by himself, or rather, excuse me, Diaz-Almeida has lost it by himself, and then Hugo Ellis has had to sit there and wait because Team Jebsen's machine is hidden out of shot and needed to try and get out of the way. Unfortunate. But that is close quarters combat in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. And Ellis will be thinking championship situation here. That is worst case scenario. Marco Giltrap punches in the fastest lap of the race. Now there is a point for those running in the championship full time. Marco Giltrap is not, but he would steal that point away from Dylan Pereira. Carrera has grabbed every single fastest lap bonus point so far this season in the overall category. First track limit warnings coming down as well, so Josh Rowledge being flagged for turn 6. At medium speed, sluggish corner. Gotta be careful. Don't want to find yourself in the eye of the stewards one too many times. So what's the gap going to be as we close another lap? Enzo Trilli starting to look into the rearview mirror as Marco Giltrap closes. It's 2.8 seconds at the front of the field. Josh Rowledge is only 1.2 seconds now off of the podium spots as well. Bao Jinlong and Lu Kai-shun have separated themselves out from Francis Chia in the Pro-Am hunt for the win. Unkong Satian-Tirankun and Chao Chi Kwan have done the same from Eric Kwong and Henry Kwong. They've got Francis Chia to split them from the fight for third in class. And let's still look as though Christian Chia 2 seconds clear of John Shen and Jackie Wu for the Masters victory. Christian Chia, who had finished on the podium in every single race before yesterday's night race, where he finished 4th, looking like he might grab his first win in this new for 2025 Masters category. Sure, the track temperature, by the way, is only rising 38 degrees Celsius when we looked at it pre-race. The nebulous nature of the weather at Sepang International Circuit often does mean, of course, that there is the threat of rain, but as Steve Dawson, pit reporter, called out pre-race, no expectation that in either of our 2 races that will be a problem. Now, that is an issue. Dylan Yips dipped the left tyres into the grass out of turn 11, and it's dropped him into the clutches of Amir Harris-Jeffrey. Harris-Jeffrey in his first year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, and part, of course, of the Porsche Talent Pool. It's a program that Porsche Carrera Cup Asia has been running since 2015 to give drivers world-class coaches and opportunities to just learn. They had a training camp at the UFC Performance Institute at Shanghai at the end of February. They'll have another camp at the Pura Sports Resort in Phuket, Thailand. And when I hear Phuket, I think not a training camp, but you know, they'll mix business and pleasure. Did look like some debris dropped out of the final corner, so hoping that no one has done any lasting damage to their machine. That's Dapabudi Harjo, who was running close to Hubo at the time of, I believe, this moment. Will he fire it up and be able to pull away? Yes, he will. And so still, we are yet to see the safety car out for the Carrera Cup Asia this weekend. Knock on wood when I say that, if you, the viewer, believe in the commentator's curse. So a second race in a row that Enzo Trilli is struggling. Long run, you'd say. And Marco Giltrap all over the rear end. Giltrap, who competed in 4 events in last year's Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, finished in the top 5 on 5 occasions in 9 races. So a pretty good record for him. And a driver that's been running plenty of Porsche machinery in New Zealand area. So I'm just watching the body language of Trilli. The car's sluggish when it turns in. It's then understeering at mid-corner as well. I'd be very curious to hear if there's something that Trilli's quite happy with in terms of the balance of the car. Even on the exit, a bit of a squirm as they squeeze onto the power. 510 horsepower at the disposal of the right foot. Josh Rowledge is not really closing in this fight right now, as Trilli goes a bit wide. Will Giltrap get that bit closer down to turn 1? Giltrap not fighting for championship points, given that he is here as a non-season entry. As further behind, it's the 23 versus the 321. So Li Xuanyu makes his way past Eric Kwong. That's a Pro-Am machine, the red number, passing the Am machine, the green number. So they're not fighting for a point there. It is track position that could come into play. And look just behind them as well. Li Chao wants to make his move on the pole sitter in the Am class, but Eric Kwong defends the inside. And the recovery drive from Hugo Ellis sends him to the inside down at turn 2. Design Motors racing machine able to fight his way forward, and that's 17th for him. But again, no points gained. He would have to make his way all the way up to 8th position to gain another point in terms of those he really cares about. So almost halfway through, has Enzo truly been able to stabilize the balance of the car? Race control has noted the incident between the 22 and the 9, so that's Hubo getting together with Li Chao. And they have also noted the incident between Dafabudi Harjo and the 61 of Adrian De Silva. So a couple of things that race control may look into post-race. There was a penalty in the aftermath of the first race, but one that did not change the results. Now that is Henry Kwong off the track and in the wrong direction now. And trouble's further behind as well. Patience as Kwong now tries to rejoin the racing. And he will do so at the tail end. So Li Chao in the Better Life entry bodies his way to the inside. Hip and shoulders off Kwong goes. He's going to be feeling quite aggrieved about that one. They always say you must leave the space. I'm not quite sure if Henry's going to feel like he was left a full car's width. Giltrap still working on the back of the Toro Racing 99. Enzo Trulli, who started the season off with such fine form, pole position and a victory, albeit a victory that had to be counted back on a red flag, so technically didn't cross the line to see the checkered flag in the way that he would have wanted. But a driver that we know has got ability. He's been racing here in Asia for the last handful of years, and now making the switch over from open wheel machinery into these Porsche Cup cars, pursuing the dream of going sports car racing. He won 2 races in the 2023 Super Formula Lights Championship. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold off as the headlights flash for Marco Giltrap. That's the mental warfare of racing. Show yourself in the mirrors, flash the headlight, do everything you can to put off the driver in front of you. Almost seems as though Giltrap is now slightly over-driving after being stuck in the dirty air for a lap or two longer than he was hoping to. Josh Rowledge is starting to close, so just keep your eye on if the Team We Trade PGR machine is going to make himself known in the orangish sort of an entry. Once again, headlights flashing from the 66, the Team Porsche New Zealand machine. Trulli does seem to have found a way to drive around whatever discomfort he's maybe experiencing. And that's what you need. You're not always going to have the perfect race car. How you adapt to that, especially in endurance racing when you might be sharing it with teammates, is very important. Now, this might be our first safety car of the weekend. Car pulled to the side of the track, and it is the 69. So Jackie Wu, the Porsche-owned retail 69 team machine. We'll see what race control elects to do here. They have been very efficient in the past, the crew at the Sepang International Circuit. So our safety car intervention could be limited to just 1 lap if that is the case. However, it would mean Dylan Pereira suddenly has the pressure ratcheted up. Same to be said for Bao Jinlong. Lukai Shun is all over the rear in the 77 Toro Racing machine. Lukai Shun won races 2 and 3 last year here at Sepang. It was Bao Jinlong that won the first race. And indeed, the safety car will come out. Munkong Satin-Tirukun as well will feel the pressure from Chao Chi Kwan. Just now waiting to see how many laps we will have as a shootout to the end. Safety car out for the first time this weekend. So the field now stacked up behind Dylan Pereira. He did get off the line much better than he did yesterday, so he's already kind of achieved one of his goals, I'm sure. He's going to be turning 28 this coming week as well, so the best way to celebrate his 28th birthday, give himself a gift of 3 race victories here at the Sepang International Circuit. Looks as though the safety workers are just trying to figure out how to get to Jackie. He's over at turn 7, I do believe, which is a somewhat awkward place to find yourself, I think. Another incident under investigation. This one is the 25 of Dafa Budi Harjo and the 61 of Adrian De Silva, so we might even get a decision on that one before the end of the race. So right now, drivers have to make sure they don't let the Michelin tires and the brakes underneath them cool off too much. Still keep them in your window. And this will be a good sort of practice run for the rolling start that we, of course, will have for the endurance race. That will begin roughly around 3 p.m. local time. You can join us for the coverage beginning about 2:45 as the Porsche safety car, resplendent in the racing yellow, paces the field. And as anyone who watches racing regularly knows, safety car driver is having to drive pretty quickly in order to make sure that he's not driving too slowly for the actual race cars behind to stay in some sort of a reasonable operating window. So safety car driver going to be hustling that Porsche safety car as reasonably necessary. There's the Medina Motorsports crew, also supporting the open road racing team. So again, a quick rundown. Pereira from Trilly, Giltrap, Rowledge, Gilchrist, Osman, Yip, Jeffrey. That's the pro machines at the front. And then Bao Jinlong, Lukai Shun, 2 Pro-Am drivers before you get to 2 Am drivers, Munkong Satin-Tirukun and Chao Chi Kwan. Francis Chia has got Li Xuan Yu for company in the fight for 3rd in Pro-Am. Hugo Ellis is trying to recover his way back, now up to 15th position. And he's got Eric Kwong, who sits 3rd in the Am category, directly behind him. Li Chao is 17th overall, 5th in the Pro-Am category, while Christian Chia leads in the Masters. He's got some separation as well. He's got Yen Chuang and Rodrigo Diaz Almeida between him and John Shen and Adrian De Silva. So that is ideal. Safety car will be in this lap, so safety team doing a great job. As I mentioned, 1 lap, all that's needed for us to get back underway. Carrera leaving as much of a gap as he can. They are stacking up behind, and that is going to be something that race control has got to take a look at. So into the final corner we go. Josh Rowledge already to the outside. A bit of a messy restart if we're being honest, but back underway for the 2nd sprint race here at the Sepang International Circuit for the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Dylan Pereira got a good restart, but look at the gaps further behind. Some big margins between some of the competitors. Is anyone going to lunge into turn 1? Around the outside, Nazim Osman's trying to make his move on Brock Gilchrist. Absolutely not, says the Team Porsche New Zealand machine. And hip and shoulders his way to hold on to the spot. That's going to be a problem for Bao Jinlong as he tries to hold off Lu Kai-shun. Remember, they're fighting in their own little fight. Keep an eye out for the pink entry, not the one at the front of the shot. Instead, the one that will filter through right about now. Lu Kai-shun directly behind. But Bao Jinlong might actually feel like he's faster than Harris Jeffrey on this restart. Behind one of our hometown drivers, Nazim Osman, you've got Dylan Yip in the Phantom Global Racing number 6, started 3rd, but bundled down to 7th after not being as aggressive as maybe he could have been on the initial race start. Already to turn 9, Pereira re-establishes his advantage. Bao Jinlong goes defensive on Lu Kai-shun. He's feeling the heat. That's a great scrap that's developing as well between two very, very experienced drivers, but experienced in different ways. Nazim Osman now, I think, also feeling the pressure from Dylan Yip more than he was on the initial restart. He went for the bold move on Brock Gilchrist, did not pay out. And back onto the Penang straightaway. 900 meters, they will blast down into the braking zone of turn 15. And another green flag lap complete for these drivers. It will be 3 laps left to go once we cross the line next time by. So drivers really running out of time to make their moves. Unkong Sathyantirakul has held on to the lead in AM, but he's right behind this fight. He sees Lu Kai-shun go to the inside. Backs out of it, does the Toro Racing 77. Sathyantirakul in the teal and white Porsche Cup car behind might actually be somewhat relieved to see Hugo Ellis making his way through the field. Ellis might put himself between Chao Chi Kwan and Sathyantirakul into the middle sector here. The incident involving the 91 and the 9, Li Chao and Henry Kwong. We saw that moment where Kwong went for a wild ride. That will be investigated post-race, so we'll give you an update on that when we return to the coverage with the endurance coverage. Again, remember, around 3 p.m. local time, our green flag will drop. So Enzo Trulli feels the pressure. He locks the left front, and a big-time lockup as well. Brock Gilchrist goes defensive on Nazim Osman. Bao Jinlong still covering off the move from Lu Kai-shun. To the inside at turn 11. That's a bold place to make the move, but the Toro Racing machine stops it on the dime and gets the place. Sathyantirakul doesn't force himself into this fight. He holds station. Bao Jinlong now running out of time to fight his way back forward. But he is still the highest of the championship scoring drivers. Here's another look at the replay. Got his nose to the right rear quarter panel. Bao Jinlong did the right thing in the BWT Phantom G racing machine just to let the move happen, not forcing anything too much. Another warning for track limits, this time to Dylan Yip. Lights flash from Josh Rowledge. He thinks he's faster than Enzo Trulli, who's lost out to Marco Giltrap. So Giltrap up to second. Team Porsche New Zealand entry moving forward. Meanwhile, the other Team Porsche New Zealand entry under pressure. Nazim Osman tried to make his way through. Didn't quite work out. Now vulnerable from Dylan Yip. This is some great racing. We didn't get so much of it last night, if we're being honest, but the conditions maybe today a bit more optimal for racing, a bit less grippy with the warmer track temperature. Enzo Trilli wide arc to the corner, chops the nose off of Rowledge. Baojin Long's just had a second warning for track limits as well, so he's got to be careful, even with just a handful of laps left to go. Already 9/10 or so the gap between second and third spot. Trilli still not entirely comfortable with the balance of the machine. Swap attempted, crisscross coming. Josh Rowledge is throwing everything at the wall and nothing's quite sticking. Dylan Yip's been passed by Amir Harris-Jeffrey. That's a great move from the Malaysian. Patience through turn 9 and 10, and eventually at turn 11, position 7 is officially Jeffrey's. Just looking at the margins, some of these drivers I think realized on that last lap that it was worth going for some aggressive moves. They weren't really going to be fighting too much further forward through the field. Take what you can when it's offered to you. It is the last lap. Dylan Pereira, a 3-second buffer at the front of the field. Lu Kai-shun, he's still in front of Baojin Long, but only just. That's your Pro-Am fight for the win. Munkong Sathyanthiraphong has got Chao Chi Kwan hot on the heels now that Hugo Ellis has passed the both of them. While it is still Christian Chia that leads in the Masters. It's close between him, John Shen and Adrian De Silva though, so that could be one to watch on this final lap. 4 different races happening on track at the same time. It makes for a fascinating story to try and follow. Sure, it's quite confusing for the drivers to try in the mid-pack to figure out what races they are really battling with as well. Lu Kai-shun is not scored on track right now, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to the 77, but he has dropped all the way into pit lane. So Baojin Long is back to the lead of the Pro-Am category as Josh Rowledge fakes a move to the inside. He's forced another lockup from Enzo Trilli. That left front is well past its sell-by date at this point. Rowledge is going to try it the long way around. He gets squeezed. He's got 2 more chances to get this done. A podium spot is up for grabs. Will he look to the inside? No, he's setting up this run out of turn 14 and onto the back straightaway. Good exit from Trilli though. He's going to be able to block the inside. A great camera shot. It shows the dominance. Only a couple of laps after the restart. It's Dylan Pereira that makes it 2 from 2 here at the Sepang International Circuit. As Team Shanghai, Yonda, BWT are in victory lane once again. Behind them, Marco Giltrap second. Enzo Trilli will be relieved that the race has come to an end, and he has held on to the final step of the podium. And Baojin Long takes the Pro-Am win. Munkong Sathyanthiraphong will take the Am win. No, stolen at the line by Chao Chi Kwan. What about the Masters? Can Christian Chia hold on? It's a drag race to the line. My, oh my. John Shen and Hubo split by 42 thousandths at the checkered flag, but it is Christian Chia that wins for the first time this season in the Masters class. Dylan Pereira on top overall, but Munkong Sathyanthiraphong, how did he lose the lead of the race in the final sector of the lap? His streak of 5 wins in a row comes to an end. And for the first time this season, we have a new race winner in the Am class. Marco Giltrap fights his way up to second to make it 2 consecutive second-place finishes this weekend. And again, Enzo Trulli, I think he's going to be quite happy with that result. Given that yesterday he dropped to 10th place, whatever changes they've made to the setup, to the balance of the 99, it scored well. Not just in the Drivers' Championship, but also in the Porsche Dealer Trophy for Toro Racing. So that's good to see. I have sent a text out to our team on the ground, Steve Dawson, our pit reporter, to see if we can figure out what happened to Lu Kai-shun. But as I said, in pit lane, and Bao Jinlong takes advantage to grab his second win of the weekend and extend his championship advantage as well. 5-time champion of the series, looking to try grabbed a 6th championship title here in 2025. One more race to come in a couple of hours' time, and then the drivers get a month off before they head to the Bang Sen Street Circuit, the 2 sprint races. End of August, they regroup at the Mandalika International Circuit for the 2nd and final Endurance Cup round before the first weekend in October. The series relinks with the Formula One paddock and hits the streets of Marina Bay. There's Chao Chi Kwan in the 610 racing machine. He'll be delighted with the victory here. He was on pole position yesterday in the AM class, but actually lost out on the race start. So he's made amends in some ways, put himself back on top here in second race. Dylan Pereira's getting quite used to this at this point. He won 5 races in 2024, and now already in 2025, 5 wins. 5 wins in 6 races. Dropped a couple of bonus points for, or 1 bonus point for qualifying in Shanghai, 1 bonus point for qualifying at Mobility Resort Motegi, but he's so far perfect, I believe. We'll have to get confirmation if he got the fastest lap of this race, or if it did indeed go to Marco Giltrap, robbing Dylan Pereira of a championship point. Confirmation of the provisional race results, still waiting for a couple of race control decisions. Team Shanghai on the BWT and Pereira on top by 4 seconds after the safety car restart from Marco Giltrap, who makes it 2 second-place finishes on the weekend. Enzo Trulli third. He'll be thrilled to hold on to the balance of the car for long enough. Josh Rowledge unable to make the move. He settles into 4th. Rock Gilchrist 5th, Nazim Osman in 6th. There was some fighting between those two in the closing stages with Amir Harris Jeffrey, a pair of Malaysians, 6th and 7th. They'll be feeling quite happy with their showing. Dylan Yip 8th. Then the Pro-Am winner, Bao Jinlong, in the BWT Phantom G racing machine, with some gap between him and the rest of his Pro-Am counterparts. Hugo Ellis, the recovery drive, saw him get back up to 10th, just in front of Chao Chi Kwan and Munkong Satin Tirukun in the AM class podium spots. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, 13th for him. 14th for Francis Chia in the Pro-Am machine, as well as Li Chao and Li Xuanyu. Eric Kwong and Yen Chuang, 17th and 18th overall. But in class, 3rd and 4th respectively, and in front of the Masters winner, Christian Chia, and then John Shen Hubo, Adrian De Silva, Dafa Budiharjo, Simon Chan, Henry Kong, and Lu Kai-shun. Steve's caught up with some of our winners. Let's go down to the celebration area.
Dylan Pereira does it again. He's having a well-deserved drink. I mean, you were sailing ahead of everyone once again. Were you concerned at all when the safety car came out? Because that lead of yours obviously shrank.
I definitely changed a little bit. I think changed the rhythm. Also the tire went cold again, so I had to warm them up again. So the risk is high again, but I think we did a good job. I think definitely my start was definitely a lot better than yesterday. So we're happy about that we find out what we can do on that point. And then I think today was a little bit warmer. Car was struggling a little bit more in the end, so we have to see for the long race what we can do for that point. So, but I think I was quite happy again. 25 points, good for the championship, and let's see next race, endurance race. Hopefully we can win that too.
Pole win in race 1, pole win in race 2. You could be on the cusp of a very special weekend.
Definitely. So that's what we will try. So definitely we will try to go from pole and win the race. So, but it's never easy. It looks like maybe sometimes, but at the end you have to work hard, and especially on this temperature and humidity is really, really tough. And luckily we have some water.
We'll be watching. Well done, Dylan.
Thanks.
You get the sense not much champagne to be drunk after this particular podium, given the slightly longer race, and Carrera already commenting on the balance of the car. So he's already thinking that the mind's at work, the mechanisms, the wheels turning, as he thinks about what he needs to do later on this afternoon to be able to put it together for 45 minutes. Just confirmation again, Lukai Schön does finish this race down in pit lane. Still not quite sure exactly why. It is Bao Jinlong that wins in the Pro-Am category as a result of that. Let's head down to pit lane. Steve's caught up with the Pro-Am winner.
Bao Jinlong sucking down some water, bathing his face with cold water. It's hot weather here. What an eventful race. First of all, tell us about how you got in front.
Oh yeah, the start. But today my start is not really good. But in the first corner, I let brake and do my line. And I overtook the car, and I was P1 in my class.
It looked like you were going to come second, and then in front of you on the last lap, did you get a good view of what happened?
Oh yeah, so here I just do overtake in the first corner, and he do around at the first corner, and he turn around and to the second corner, could go outside, no grip. I keep inside and put to the first gear, overtake.
Okay, get some water down you. There's another race to come. Well done.
Thank you.
Hot and humid, that is for sure. And Bao Jinlong celebrates a victory, a third win in a row as well. So a sluggish start to the season at Shanghai, yes, but he's starting to put it all together. And the teammates, as part of that Phantom G Racing team, celebrate together. A couple moments away from catching up with hopefully some of our other winners down in that area. Get one with me as well, is what I heard. Steve's caught up though with another one of our winners. Let's catch up with our winner.
Dao Jiquan in such an eventful late overtake in this race that I didn't even see it. Tell us about what happened.
可以跟我们说下你刚刚最后超车的时候是怎么样发生的？
因为我的对手前车在14号弯的时候发生了失误，当时我就看到了机会，我走了内线，然后在最后一个直线的时候，我就可以吸到对手的尾流，然后我借助尾流在内线，他走内线防守，我走外线一个交叉线，然后把前车超过。OK.
So basically, it happened at turn 14 where there was an incident faced by my rival. So I saw an opportunity and I took the inside line and we kind of crossed together and I just overtook him like that.
Had you given up at that point?
当时还没有发生这个的时候，你有没有几乎要放弃了？
没有，我在比赛不冲线之前，我一直都没有放弃，因为我知道每一个弯都会有机会，每一刻、每一分钟都会有机会。
No, I never give up before the finishing line because I know every turn will be an opportunity.
Well done. Get some champagne. Well done.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks to Sammy for translating there alongside Chao Chi Kwan with Steve. Yeah, no, Steve didn't see it. I didn't even see it until I saw the timing screen update. A quite remarkable sequence there for Chao Chi Kwan to get the move done. Moonkong Sati and Tirukun can't be too frustrated because, yes, it was second, but he's finished no lower than second. He's won every other race this season, so his hunt for the AM Championship win is still looking pretty strong. So one more winner to hopefully catch up with, that would be Christian Chia before we get into the podium ceremonies. But first, let's actually take a look at some highlights of what was a quite interesting race here with the sun building on Super Sunday for Porsche Carrera Cup at the Sepang International Circuit. Dylan Pereira with a rocket of a launch, corrected his mistake from yesterday and behind. Enzo Trilli second, Marco Giltrap third, as the rest of the field fought their way up through turn number 4. There was some fighting at turn 9, as was to be expected in the mid-pack contact between Adrian De Silva and Dapo Budi Harjo. Race control still looking into that one. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida mounted the inside curb, looped himself in front of Hugo Wells, who quite nicely parked his car and avoided making the situation any worse. From there, a couple more issues. Dapo Budi Harjo again going around, but all in the midst of some close racing. First between Li Xuanyu getting past Eric Kwong, but then slightly further back, this was the move that I was thinking about. Henry Kwong slightly pushed off the track as Li Chao tried to fight his way forward in the Better Life machine. Hop, skip and a jump. It could have been worse. It could have brought out the safety car. That did happen when Jackie Wu, some damage to the right front, was parked on the side of turn 7. An exciting restart. Enzo Trilli felt the pressure and ended up getting passed by Marco Giltrap. Lu Kai-shun fought his way past Bao Jinlong after the green flag drops after the restart. However, he had to head to pit lane on the closing lap of the race and released Bao Jinlong to the front of the field, where he celebrated a Pro-Am victory alongside his Phantom G Racing teammate Dylan Pereira in the Team Shanghai Honda BWT number 5. 2 for 2 here at Sepang. And one more race to come here from the Sepang International Circuit as well. Let's go down and catch up with our Masters winner. Let's talk to Christian Chia.
Christian Chia in his beautiful orange Porsche comes out on top among the Masters. Just take us through that. It was an eventful outing, wasn't it?
A lot's going on, and there was quite a bit of mayhem on the track, but you know, Sepang always delivers, and I came out with a good start, and it kind of went from there.
Did you get a good view of what happened to Adrian? Because he was out on pole, he had a successful day yesterday, and yet his car is to the right of yours.
Well, that's where I'd like to keep him, and I just had a really good start, and then after that, it was really about managing the pace and managing the tires. Yesterday, I struggled with a tire deck quite a bit, and today, yeah, the Michelin's held up.
One more race to come, so how many sips of champagne now?
Well, I think at least half a bottle.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good to hear that he felt a little bit better with the balance of these Michelins. Remember, the car's a spec, so you've got a few things that you can change setup-wise, but your 4 contact points, the Michelin tires, you've really got to nurse and manage them as best as you can. And these cars don't have ABS and traction control. The only Carrera Cup around the world where ABS is enabled is in Carrera Cup North America, if I remember correctly. Traction control is something that these cars only sometimes run for the endurance races as keeping cool in the humidity, as 2 for 2 for Team Shanghai Honda BWT. And, of course, for Bao Jinlong in the BWT Phantom G Racing machine. So, how much champagne will be sprayed? Plenty. How much will be drunk? Maybe not as much, as we get ready for the third and final race in a few hours' time, a 45-minute endurance race. The Endurance Cup points, just if you're joining us slightly late in the day, they get totted up across all the sprint races and the endurance races in both the rounds that we have of the Endurance Cup. So right now, Dylan Pereira is going to be leading. Obviously, let's head down to the podium, though. Let's get ready to spray the champagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the podium presentation for round 6 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2025 in Sepang International Circuit, Malaysia. Let's get ready to invite the winners for the overall class. On the 3rd place, let's congratulate driver number 99, Enzo Trilli from Toro Racing. 2nd place, driver number 66, Marco Giltrap from Team Porsche New Zealand. Winner, driver number 5, Dylan Pereira from Team Shanghai Honda BWT. And the Endurance Cup Best Newcomer Trophy winner is driver number 66, Marco Giltrap, Team Porsche New Zealand. And the Dealer Trophy winner is Team Shanghai Honda BWT. Now we would like to invite Mr. Alex Imperatori, the manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, to present the winner trophy and the check then the dealer trophy. And next, I would like to invite Mr. Christopher Hunter, the Chief Executive Officer of Sam Derby Auto Performance, to present the second place trophy and together with the check. And next, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Chung, the Championship Manager, Michelin Motorsport Asia Pacific, to present the third place trophy, the check, and the Best Newcomer trophy. Let's get everybody closer. We still have one more trophy, I believe. Just a moment. All right, seems like everybody has gotten your trophies. Let's get together for a group photo, please. The check has flew off. That's very important. Don't let it fly off. All right, everybody ready? Big smile, thumbs up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much to all of our award presenters. Please hold on to champagne first. We're going to take away your check. And then we will get you ready for the champagne celebration! Congratulations again to our winners for the overall class.
Well-earned spray of the champagne there, and Marco Giltrap trying to launch it into the moon. Good job that they protected the checks, by the way, because they have to be used once again when we get ready for our podium ceremonies later on today. Let's head back down to the podium ceremony, this time with the Pro-Ams.
And ladies and gentlemen, now let's get ready to invite the winners for the Pro-Am class. On the third place, we have driver number 9, Li Chao from Team Better Life. Second place, driver number 21, Francis Chia from Open Road Racing. And the winner, driver number 7, Bao Qinlong from BWT Phantom Global Racing. And now I would like to invite Mr. Alex Imperatori, the manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, to present the winner trophy. And next, I would like to invite Mr. Christopher Hunter, the Chief Executive Officer of Sam Derby Auto Performance, to present the second place trophy. And next, Mr. Charles Chang, the Championship Manager, Michelin Motorsport Asia Pacific, to present the third place trophy. Now let's get everybody to stand closer for your photo, please. All right, everybody, thumbs up, big smile, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much to all of our award presenters. Let's get ready for some champagne.
Getting the whole team involved on that one, spraying it down as well. Always nice to see the celebrations, but remembering these drivers have still got that one final race of the weekend to think about. And so I'm sure there's only half a mind on the celebrations. One more. Let's go back down to the podium, spray some more champagne.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to invite the winners for the M class. On third place, we have driver number 23, Eric Huang from Bergwood Motorsport. Second place, driver number 76, Moon Kong Santian Tirakun, EPMB Racing. And the winner, driver number 610, Tao Qiguan from 610 Racing. Champions Cup Best Newcomer Trophy winner is driver number 101, Simon Chan from Fire Monkey Motorsport. May I now kindly invite Mr. Alex Imperatori to present the winner trophy. And may I now invite Mr. Christopher Hunter to present the second place trophy. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Chung to now present the third place trophy. And also the best newcomer trophy. And now let's get everybody together for a group photo, please. Everybody, big smiles, thumbs up, ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much to all of our award presenters. It's for another round of champagne celebration.
They're in a hurry to go back to the garage, the paddock, to go and review some data, talk setup or whatever. Yeah, you can see the urgency for some to get back to the racing. The celebrations are nice, but you know, we go racing to go racing. Celebrations are just the byproduct of it. One final celebration. Let's go down to our Masters podium.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to invite the winners for the Masters class. On the third place, driver number 61, Adrian De Silva from EBM. Second place, driver number 16, John Shen from Modena Motorsport. And the winner, driver number 88, Christian Chia from Open Road Racing. And now I would like to invite Mr. Alex Imperatori to now present the winner trophy. And now I would like to invite Mr. Christopher Hunter, the Chief Executive Officer of Sam Dhabi Auto Performance, to present the second place trophy. And lastly, Mr. Charles Chung to present the third place trophy. Now may I invite everybody to please come closer for a group photo, please. All right, everybody, thumbs up, big smiles, ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much to all of our award presenters. Let's get ready for a final round of champagne shower.
There's some camaraderie in this Masters class between three veterans of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. But we've got one more race later on today, a 45-minute endurance race to close out the weekend here at the Sepang International Circuit. For our team behind the scenes, Arjuna Kankipati saying, see you then, here in Malaysia.